joining us now. He is the athletic director of Utah State University. Cameron Walker, kind enough to hang out with us. Cam, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
New TV deal. Let's talk about it. USA with the new Pac-12. I know you came into that midstream as the athletic director, but what does this mean for the conference? What does this mean for Utah State?
Yeah, I think the conference did a terrific job. Teresa's really made it a priority to make sure that we've got football games on television channels that people can access and have heard of. And I think that's a big deal when we're able to get all of our conference games, in linear television. It's going to be a better place for us than even some of the power conferences, as they're termed. And so I'm really excited about it. I think it's a huge thing for Utah State and a huge thing for the Pac-12 as we go to rebuild this league.
If you don't mind, give us some of the deals or some of the details of the deal. Scotty said USA Network, but give us some of the details of what it's being explained as to you.
Yeah, so primarily with football, but it certainly expands to other sports as well. But with football, we're going to have all of our conference football games are going to be on either CBS, CBS Sports Network, CW, or USA. And so there's those are just a huge part of television packages that are easy to access and that most people have. And so not only are you getting the people that want to tune in and watch you, which your fans are always going to try and find where you're at, but you're also getting the casual viewer that's going, oh, Utah State versus UNLV tonight. Let's check this out. So it's just much more accessible, which I think is a big thing. But our basketball games will be on those same networks. There will be a few games, mainly non-conference games, that will stream. Those details of those streaming will get ironed out here. But most of them, our men's basketball games will be there, and even some of our women's basketball games. So I think it's a huge opportunity to just be visible. It'll make a huge difference, I think, for us as far as viewership, the value of our sponsors, both in venue and certainly through television, but then also in recruiting.
It's interesting, and I'm not asking you to get into specifics on numbers. I know you got to be very careful about that stuff. But is there conversations, not just in the Pac-12, but also in Power 4 conferences, of we might be able to make more money via streaming, but we still want to be able to have that linear coverage for our recruits to be able to say, hey, you can still flip on your cable or satellite and find that channel. Like, there's got to be a line there between the two, because I imagine if you're, the Big 12 or somebody, you could offer up your tier 1 streaming rights to a streaming company and make a whole ton of money.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a continual balance, and something, luckily, that I've been a part of even prior to getting here at Utah State. And so it's a continual balance, because yes, streamers will pay a lot for inventory, and they need more inventory, and live sports continues to be a huge product. But you do have to say, can our fans access it? Do they have to pay extra? And then also, what other eyeballs are we getting that maybe aren't our fans yet, and aren't aware of what we're doing? And viewership, as much as we've all kind of shifted into that streaming world, viewership is still higher on linear television. And I think we have to value that. And I think the league did a really good job. Again, Teresa's been outstanding to work with. And I thought she did a really good job of balancing both revenue needs are key, but balancing that with also we've got to be seen. Otherwise, you're kind of like that tree that falls in the forest, and we're wondering, did you make a sound?
Well, Cam, I feel like you're jumping in at the right time with these negotiations, and I'm just curious because when you get in bed with Washington State and Oregon State, who were original Pac-12ers, and you bring Boise State in and you bring Gonzaga in for basketball, that there's a lot of egos at the table to deal with. How difficult has that been, and are there people at the table saying, we want more on this distribution? Is it going to get difficult that way?
I think it's been pretty good so far. I think everybody realizes we're going to be best if we stay unified and work together. And certainly everybody my job is to get the best and most for Utah State. At the same time, I know if we somehow cripple this league, and there's some lessons to learn from some of the other leagues, that went to uneven distribution and those things, that it's challenging. I do think we have to look as we move to future members and things of that nature, like, are they bringing in value? And if not, then what is their value? But certainly, egos can play a role. So far, everybody's been really good, at least in my short tenure. There's a lot of collaboration and cooperation. And, case in point, we have a little rivalry going with Boise, but Jeremiah up there at Boise and I have talked several times. He was the first one to congratulate me and send me a text when we beat them in the conference championship. So for women's soccer to go to the NCAA. So even though it's this, we all want to beat each other's brains in, you all realize that we're going to be stronger by linking arms, and we need to collaborate to get the most out of these deals and work together. And the more unified we can be, I think the more long-term viability the league has.
Love it. Cam Walker joining us right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone, athletic director at Utah State. So, huge one against UNLV coming up on Saturday, tomorrow in Las Vegas. I know you're going to be down there. This is going to be a heck of a game as Broncos crew right there on the cusp of becoming bowl eligible. A lot on the line for this one.
Yeah, I'll be heading down there tomorrow so that I can watch our ladies tonight in Provo. But incredibly big game. We're coming off what I think is our best game of the season against Nevada. Nevada had played everybody tough. I know the record doesn't indicate, but I think they're a solid football team and been a lot of close games. But we, I think, finally executed in all three phases. Offense looked dynamic, and the defense was really tough all night. I think it's a great opportunity for us. Obviously, that sixth game lingering out there, you always want to get that as early as you can, take some pressure off for the last two, but really exciting. But UNLV's been very good and continues to have a great football team, and you're always going to have offense, and you've got the coaching staff they've got. So look forward to getting down there and hopefully getting a win.
So, Cam, this is a really unique show where my uncle's names are all over the stadium and all over the university and statues, and my son's headed out to play there, and all of my family still lives in Cache. Scotty, obviously the voice of Utah State, graduated there. We're very connected to that university. We love it, and we champion it. We always have here in the 12 years of our show and the 20 years we've been on air. And one thing that we've really wanted was a president that'll stay, an athletic director that'll stay, and coaches in both basketball and football that will stay. And as you settle in there, you see the president hire, and you get to meet with Bronco and Calhoun, and speaking for yourself as well. Do you feel like there's true stability in Logan right now between the athletic department, the president, and the coaching staffs that are there?
Yeah, I do. I think it certainly feels that way. You can never fault somebody for moving on to something that they think is better for them and their family. That's why I came here, right? But at the same time, I think we've got a shot at some longevity. And I think that if we hit our potential and we do what we need to do, that there's been this idea that, maybe Utah State's a step towards someplace else. And I don't think it has to be that. We're going into a league with, like we mentioned earlier, Gonzaga in basketball. Mark Few's not looking to step anywhere else. Why? Because he's supported in a way that'll help him win championships, and he's compensated at a rate that's fair in the market. And I think if we can get to that spot where we're resourcing our teams that way, we can be a destination spot. And I know that may sound like, whoa, that's out there, but I don't think it is. And I think it's very doable. And I think with sustained leadership and people that are committed to seeing it happen, I think there can be long-term viability and sustainability at Utah State and not as much turnover. You'll lose some people here and there. That's part of it. And positive attrition is always That's never terrible, but we've got to get to where people view us as we should be, which is a destination spot, someplace you want to try and get to and not someplace that you're trying to get to the next spot.
Yep.
What are your initial conversations like with President Mortensen?
They've been fantastic. He is apprised, aware of the situations in college athletics. Unbelievable, just good nature about him. Really positive energy. We've got to spend a lot of time, multiple ball games now together, and then have had some meetings. His energy, his leadership are things that I think we need. He's got a different approach. I think that's the right approach for what we need in higher ed in 2025. Athletics isn't all that's changed, right? Higher ed is changing too, and we have to have different mindsets and different approaches. Higher ed is incredibly valuable, and the data and everything says that across the board, but we've lost the narrative somewhere about the value, and we've got to start telling that story in a better way. And I can't think of anybody to tell the story of Utah State that'll be better positioned to do it than President Mortensen. It doesn't hurt too that he's a fellow Madison Bobcat. We went to the same high school, which is kind of wild.
Hey, it's a 208 takeover, Hans. You got the president and the athletic director, Idaho guys.
Hey, I know, and I don't hate it. I was just actually reading through some of Mortensen's bio, and he was a native of Idaho, but then there were 3 generations of his family that lived in Idaho before they all relocated to Cache Valley, which I love because you all understand that valley. You understand the nuances, the uniqueness of it, and I do think it's one of the more unique valleys in the country, with the members that moved in there. I mean, my family on my mom's side established Minden, Utah, which is on the west side of that valley, tucked up against the mountains. And I've got family that established the other side of that valley near Logan in Paradise. And it's like that it is the unique valley. It's the Saints Valley, and it's great to have men and women in there that understand that.
Yeah, it's an incredible place, and I had high expectations. Again, being familiar with it, I had a lot of relatives that grew up in the Bear Lake area, and we would go back there, and I've been coming back there for years, almost every summer, to spend time. It's an incredible place, and I had high expectations, and those have been nothing but exceeded. The people are incredibly warm, incredibly welcoming, and there just feels like an energy now that and an excitement about what we can build at Utah State, and it's almost tangible. And I'm hoping that more and more in the community continue to feel it because we're going to need all of them to be a part of this. But it can be a really special ride at Utah Athletics because of the uniqueness of the Valley if they'll get behind us.
By the way, we need to mention that you walk into a really great situation in terms of your programs. You had on one day a volleyball team win an outright conference championship, a soccer team win a conference tournament championship, and your football team won a game on Saturday, and it's just a game away from bowl eligibility. But to have not just your football team performing well and the basketball team looking like they're going to have a great season as well, but to have your other sports churning out some great opportunities. You mentioned the women's team will play in the NCAA tournament against BYU coming up later tonight. That's sometimes when you're a new athletic director, you have to do a lot of building up. There's not a lot of building up you have to do with some of these other programs.
Yeah, incredibly fortunate. I wish I could say I had anything to do with any of those outcomes, but it's really the leadership of our head coaches. From that standpoint, we're in a tremendous position as a department. But winning championships is really, really hard, right? Everybody else wants to win it too. And to have 2 won on the same day, the night after you win a really tough basketball game and the night you win a incredible football game is really rare. I'm trying to soak those in because there's a lot of tough losses too, right? There's a lot of tough outcomes. Sports is hard, winning is hard, and winning championships is even harder. So trying not to take those moments for granted, but incredibly just excited for Rob and his team, and then for Manny, and can't wait to see Manny and them perform tonight.
How's the relationship going with Bronco Mendenhall? Have you been able to meet with him a few times, and what have those conversations been like?
I think it's going great. I hope he would say the same thing. His leadership is so steady and consistent that it's really remarkable. He's a really good communicator, communicates really well with me. But his even keelness, Hans, you played football. Not all football coaches are even keel.
No.
You know that. I've dealt with a lot, and I can certainly testify of that fact that I've had a bunch where even coaches I really get along with, we don't always get along. But his steadiness, his thoughtfulness, he's very methodical and logical, and he is building this program in a way that is sustainable. He is not going to do anything in year 1 or year 2 that shortcuts the outcomes for year 4 and year 5 and year 6. And I think that's so vital today. Everybody wants a quick fix. We want wins now. And certainly we want to win as much as we can now, but we can't do it at the cost of future years. And so getting the culture right, building the team, building the staff in the right way is critical. He's doing those things, and I've enjoyed getting to work with him. Hope to be able to help him in that process and help him address some of the issues and obstacles in front of him, but incredibly excited to continue to work with him as we move this football program forward in the future.
Saw you got to hang out a little bit yesterday with Stu Morrill. I've known Stu for a long time, and he's never shy in sharing opinions. So what was that conversation like?
Tremendous. I mean, he is he just knows so much about the game and athletics in general. Anytime you get to glean information off legends like that, there's not too many people like Stu, and just hearing how he's thinking about this system, as much as he wasn't part of this NIL era and all this, like, he still gets it, and he still knows, and he still understands what it takes for athletes today. And he's still so attuned. It was incredibly helpful to me, insightful, both of his past, but even just getting to spend time with somebody like that, you just hope some of their greatness rubs off on you. But it was great for him to be out there watching basketball, and he spoke to the team, and great opportunity. And Jared's great too. Just I think they've struck up a friendship, and those things are invaluable to us as a program. But Stu's obviously a legend, and anytime your name's on the court, you've had a huge impact, and he certainly has. We hope to build off that foundation that he built.
Speaking of advice and peace of mind, I don't know, have you talked to Uncle Phil yet? I don't know if you've had to sit down with Phil Olson, but I will tell you, Cam, that get him on your side. He is a pit bull. He will find money. He will fundraise. I don't know a man on planet Earth that bleeds more Aggie blue than Phil Olson.
We will certainly. It sounds like we need to hire him in the development office.
Yeah.
So I need his resume, and we need to get him to work. And I certainly look forward to getting with him and visiting. Maybe I can have you help connect me there.
Yeah, it's probably going to need to happen. And I would say Phil, and I'd say a lot of alumni, that the Aggie alumni is really a proud base. And I don't know how much you've really started to intertwine yourself with alumni, but I do think that there's a lot of helpful people. I was golfing with Kevin White and Jeff Hunsaker just yesterday or 2 days ago, Scotty?
Yeah.
2 days ago maybe. Really just prominent members. I mean, heck, if you could just break into Kevin White's bank account and get some of his money for fundraising. Look, I think we could find NILs all over the place.
The dude could fund a whole football team with his money he finds in his couch cushions.
I know. I'm hoping the alumni can go well for you, Cam.
Yeah, no, Have started to make some inroads. Have visited with Kevin. He hasn't invited me over yet. Once he does, I'll shake those couch cushions. It sounds
There
like.
you go.
But the alumni has been incredible, and they are very proud, and they should be. There's been a lot of tremendous accomplishments, and I think we have to show them that we're worthy of their trust again, and that we can support them and make them proud of not only what they accomplished, but what we're going to accomplish in the future. And they are incredibly proud, as they should be. They're incredibly involved, and I'm excited to get to learn and more about them, learn and meet more of them. But certainly have been impressed with the ones we've met and worked with, and look forward to meeting more.
Well, Cam, we appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with us. Looking forward to seeing you down in Vegas tomorrow. Let's go get that W and get this team into a bowl game. But appreciate your time as always.
Good luck, Cam.
No, thank you for having me, and hopefully we don't find you on the table, Scotty. Stay away from the tables.
I know,
He's already got you coined.
No promises there. Thanks. We'll talk to you soon. There he is, Cameron Walker, new athletic director at Utah State.